Have you ever noticed that one of the lies the enemy whispers to us is, it's all up to you? You're all on your own? Especially when it comes to sharing our faith. He whispers, well, if you want someone to know about Jesus, you better say it exactly right. And if they don't believe, it's all your fault. And let's be honest, that lie is heavy. It's paralyzing, and many of us carry it without even knowing. But I've got good news for you today. It is not all up to you. It's never been all up to you. Hey friends, Donna Amidon here, and we're in a series called Everyday Evangelism, How to Share Your Faith with Confidence. And we're learning how to share our faith from Colossians chapter 4. And in this passage, Paul reveals something very liberating. He says when it comes to sharing our faith, we're not alone. What do I mean? Well, in verse 3, Paul writes, at the same time, pray also for us, that God may open to us a door for the word, to declare the mystery of Christ. You see, Paul doesn't say, pray that I can push or force my way in. No, he says, pray that God opens a door. And that's what sharing our faith is all about. Not pushing or forcing, but praying, and then walking through the door God opens. I'll share a story that brought this to life for me. A few weeks ago, I was at a concert and ended up sitting next to a couple I'd never met. Well, before the music started, the woman and I made some small talk, and she mentioned in passing that she and her husband had looked for a church several years ago, but had never found one. And as soon as she said church, I started quietly praying, God, open a door for me to share about you. Well, intermission came and we started talking again, and this time about our interest. I told her I had just published a book, and she asked about it, and so I said, well, it walks through the Old Testament and shows how the Old Testament connects to the New and how God's loving plan all along was to send Jesus. Well, I loved it. She looked a little puzzled, and at the same time her face lit up, and she said, that is crazy, because during the first part of the concert, I was sitting there listening to the music, thinking about the Old and the New Testament and God's character and Jesus. And I never think about the Old and New Testament. Well, we both kind of laughed together. And then during that 15-minute intermission, the woman and I had a wonderful conversation about the Bible, about the loving character of God. And more than that, after that conversation, I believe that woman knew that her random thoughts during the concert about the Old and New Testament were not random at all, but that God had placed us together at that concert to bring her and her husband back into a relationship with Jesus. Friends, I walked away from that conversation so full of faith because I knew it was not me. It was the Holy Spirit. He stirred her thoughts. He opened the door and made the way. So let this story remind you, the Holy Spirit is at work. We don't need to walk into cold conversations. We can step into divine appointments. So friends, here's my challenge. Let go of the pressure that it is all up to you. And then start with a simple prayer. Say, God, open a door. Go before me. Stir someone's heart. And then when that moment comes, help me see the opportunity to speak with love. So keep your eyes open. Look for the open door. And when it comes, walk through. One honest, kind, Spirit-led conversation at a time, and you'll be amazed at what God can do.